What's up, guys and girls? Welcome back to XPForce, where next gen gets closer each and every freaking day. We've learned a lot about the big games coming to PS5 this week. Plus, EA has at least alerted us, hi, we're working on next gen. Our Battlefield team, our BioWare team, our sports teams, they're trying to make PS5 and Xbox Series X stuff happen. I really hope that the EA Play event, they would have shown some more true next gen games instead of just saying like, we gotcha. Eventually, but alas, at least we know that Cyberpunk will work seamlessly on the new consoles, and today we're talking about all of it, so make sure to smash the like button if you're pumped for the coming generational switch, and let me know in the comments down below which of the games we talk about you're most into. I got to establish and let you know the ones that I am going absolutely bananas for. And we got two big ones in the form of Spider-Man Miles Morales and Horizon Forbidden West, but first, the Cyberpunk 2077 delay happened. It's a bummer. I thought that maybe its delay till November 19th would make them want to make a PS5 and Xbox Series X dedicated version, but that's not what CD Projekt Red is gonna do. They're gonna have the PS4 version, the Xbox One version, and you can play them on your next-gen consoles. It really sounds like there's not gonna be a box that says PS5 Cyberpunk or Xbox Series X Cyberpunk, which is a weird move to me, but they say that in 2021, there will be an updated version that really takes advantage of the next-gen consoles, so expect minor improvements in November, big improvements next year. I think this all boils down to Cyberpunk has been in development for 8 years, since 2012, so they probably weren't planning on it hitting next-gen. The game was supposed to launch this summer, and then September, and now November, and I still think it'll be really fun to play on the new consoles, because similar to how cross-gen games are more exciting on the newer boxes, it'll be really nice to say, hey, what am I going to play on my PS5 on launch day? Cyberpunk. It's just weird that there's not a dedicated version, and therefore it won't really be taking advantage of the hardware. In some cases, smart delivery is a phenomenal idea, but in other cases, it's backwards compatibility. And it's going to be up to each individual developer and title to determine how much extra effort they want to put in to that next-gen version. And that's what will make smart delivery super cool, or smart delivery just another buzzword for backwards compatibility. I'm super excited for Cyberpunk. I will be playing it on the next-gen console as long as they're launched by November 17th. Please, I would be so upset if they were not launched by then. They have to be, right? We'll have for Black Friday, after the election. It just makes sense. Now, EA will inevitably have new versions of its popular franchises, but for now, they're saying, hey, it's smart delivery and works day one with Madden 21 and FIFA 21 and games like that. No dedicated version, which is an interesting comparison and contrast to 2K, who is delivering a dedicated next-gen version of NBA 2K21. Now, you could say that, well, it just makes more sense to make your version of the game accessible to all consoles, forward and backwards, but NBA is going to have a version on the current-gen consoles and on the next-gen consoles, and I really love that. That gets me excited to say, okay, when I do go buy the new system, I can, if I want, buy a next-gen special game and a next-gen special version, because for me, I just say, all right, I'll hold off on NBA, I'll wait and get the next-gen version, and everything will be good. Now, some people don't want to wait, and that's why smart delivery is helpful, but it's weird when like Cyberpunk is saying like, yes, you can play it, but the upgrades are going to be minimal until next year, then we'll have the true next-gen version, and you'll still get it for free, which is great. Maybe at that point, they also sell a box version. I just found that whole launch situation odd, and it had me wondering what is going to be the launch arrangement for both consoles. What's the lineup? I mean, we know that Series X is going to have Halo Infinite, and it sure seems like PlayStation 5 is going to have Miles Morales. They're not going to have Horizon Forbidden West. Oh, this is a bummer. Like, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to be true, but I hoped against hope. Like, that kid inside you that loves video games always wants to think the best in the world, right? And I really thought maybe Sony would deliver and put forth their big Aloy-infused IP on launch day. Miles Morales is probably going to be $40, but Guerrilla Games is saying, no, you're not going to get a full $60 first-party Sony title on launch day. Horizon's coming in 2021. They don't even give a window. I pray that Horizon Forbidden West is not a fall 2021 game, but at this point, with delays, with the pandemic, with the way things go, and how development has been affected as of late, I'm not ruling that out. I sure hope it's soon, though, because it looks amazing. They confirmed that you will be traveling from Utah all the way to the Pacific Ocean. The whole West is going to be wild. Dozens of new machines. Underwater is going to play a huge factor in swimming through lakes and rivers and things of the sort. maybe eventually a dive in the ocean. I could see that being a big story moment. They didn't want to spoil anything story related, but I could see like, wow, you reach the ocean, dive in, salt water in your face, big disgrace, now you're sunburnt and sticky all over the place. I never liked the stickiness of salt. Also, the Pacific Ocean, really cold, but Aloy doesn't care about that. It's the freaking robot dinosaur apocalypse. The other piece of news is that the game has virtually no loads. And we've heard virtually no loads time and time again. Cerny talked about it. We know that SSD is beefy in the PS5. It's cool for a game like Horizon to hear how it's going to have an effect. So they said when you open up the map and fast travel from one side to the other, you're instantly there, no loads. When you boot the game for the first time from the UI, the home menu, instantly there, no loads. That is killer. I cannot wait for that. It's those subtle things that make your experience playing better that I think I respect most about next gen. Graphics will always improve, and the way they improve makes our mind think that the graphics we have are always the best graphics. You know how that works? Like, imagine when you saw The Last of Us 1. That was a beautiful game. And now you see The Last of Us Part 2, and it's an insane game. But at the time you thought The Last of Us 1 looked really good, and at the current time you think Last of Us Part 2 looks amazing, and I'm sure when Last of Us 3 or Naughty Dog's PS5 project comes out, you're going to think that looks incredible as well. So it's more about how is gameplay and your experience affected that I think means a lot to me. And I love that Sony is going to be incorporating their DualSense technology, their haptic feedback of the controller, and their superpowered SSD into not only Horizon Forbidden West, but Spider-Man Miles Morales as well, which is coming this year. Please do not get delayed. And we now have official confirmation, beyond all reasonable doubt, and official word that it's going to be comparable in size to Uncharted Lost Legacy. Now that makes sense, it's what I said, and it's what the industry has started to use as kind of like the standard for a mid-tier game. But it basically confirms that Spider-Man Miles Morales will be like a 7-hour game, about half the length of Spider-Man PS4, which is how Uncharted Lost Legacy was about half the length of Uncharted 4, a 7 to 10 hour experience. And that's what I expect. Now, if you're going to go 100% and complete all the side quests, maybe you can get a little more oomph out of it. But like 5 to 8 hours is still pretty good. Price point is going to be huge. I hope they charge $40 for that thing. It's a new console. People are going to be desperate for something cool to play. It's Spider-Man. It's Miles Morales. They said they've unlocked the city to take advantage of the SSD. Made sure the textures look really crispy. Miles has his electric impulse powers and his invisibility powers, so it's going to be a fresh, fun character. They confirmed there's no Peter Parker in the game, so it doesn't sound like any swapping is going to be going down. This is going to be a full Miles Morales adventure. And that it is going to be wintertime right before Christmas as two big conglomerates duke it out. I wonder if they'll put in a mainline villain or not. That's currently my biggest question. Will Spider-Man Miles Morales tap into Marvel's litany of major villains, or will they have this be sort of DLC style where it's like, no, it's actually just companies, corporations fighting, save New York in the winter, which everyone loves to do to show off your tech, but I think the snow reflections and when they dot Miles' suit, oh, that's going to be so cool. They also mentioned that Miles is a little bit more of a newbie than Peter Parker, so his flight and his swinging through the city is going to feel a little more not polished. And I'm sure the game will feel polished and it'll be very smooth, but he's going to be a little, like, animation-wise, not as comfortable, which I think is really cool. And they talked about how they're playing into the character and really making sure that they deliver on the Miles side of the experience, the Miles story. And don't just try to make it, hey, it's Spider-Man, but now you're this other guy. No, the story, the gameplay, the combat, even the swinging is going to feel true to Miles and ensure that this is a different experience, not just a retread of what you've already played. So even though it's using the same city, even though it's borrowing from many of the same systems, it's a PS5 Spider-Man that's about 7 to 10 hours that does use the DualSense, that does use haptic feedback, that starts to show what next-gen exclusives can do with the tech. And then they also affirmed, like, hey, we're hard at work on Peter Parker's next adventure. Don't worry, Spider-Man 2 coming in at some point. I don't know. I mean, you start to get scared if it's like Miles Morales in 2020, Horizon in 2021, Spider-Man in 2022, or God of War, Spider-Man in 2023. Like, don't stretch it too far, because as much as we do love our big AAA third-party titles, our cross-platform titles, the exclusives right now are what are generating a ton of interest. And for me, I get so excited because it's like, that's why I buy the console. I go spend $500 so I can play a game I can only play there. I respect and appreciate backwards compatibility. I really think Game Pass is such a great value. But for me, it's like those experiences that are bold, that are forward-thinking, that you've never seen before, that can only be had on that beefy alien-looking box or that Tower of Power. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'll be there for in November. That's what we're going to be experiencing. And that hardware trailer for Sony took off. It's got like 25 million views on YouTube. The Horizon trailer is so much more watched than its third-party counterparts. It makes sense, but 6 million people have seen that trailer, and they're very excited for that game. And the Spider-Man trailer didn't do too bad either. So it's going to be a very cool time to see the differences and the distinctions between, hey, cross-gen titles, Cyberpunk just working on next-gen titles, truly next-gen exclusives, third-party next-gen exclusives. Who's going to be able to figure this out most? It's a trial and error period, and it's more that than ever before because Microsoft is straight up saying, we're giving everyone a year to even need the next-gen console. Sony is taking a different approach and saying, you're going to buy this box, we got to give you the games. And at the same time, I don't think Miles Morales is going to be playable on PS4. I've seen some people say maybe they are going to go backwards compatible with that. I don't think so. I think Miles Morales, even though it takes advantage of the PS4 Spider-Man framework, I don't think that game is downloadable on PS4. I think that is a PS5 exclusive. It's a half step between 1 and 2, but I think they're going to keep it as something that you must have the new console to play. And while I'd love for everyone to experience Miles Morales, I put on my thinking cap and I say this is the smart way to do it. Because if you want fans to convert over and spend $500 to $600, we're starting to hear that PS5 might be more than people think. We're starting to hear it might be closer to $600. If you're going to get me to open up my wallet, I've been working for months to pay off this box, and I don't have anything exclusive to play. I could just play on PS4. Ooh, I feel a little sad and bad about picking that system up. So I think it's a smart move. We'll have to see if it actually pans out that way. I'm very curious how the launch lineups are really going to take shape now that we know Horizon isn't a part of it. Cyberpunk is just like, hey, you can play it. It's not getting an next-gen version. What all gets announced in the coming months? We know like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. EA seems pretty far behind. Deathloop, obviously, from Bethesda. What else does Microsoft have? That July showcase date, announce it. I want to be ready for it. I want to bring you guys all the coverage. So make sure to subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you're ready for it. Let me know if you're more excited for Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Forbidden West, Cyberpunk 2077, or I guess EA Sports stuff in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you're excited for next gen. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel. It's been a wonderful first week, and we only have up to go from here because next gen will continue to get closer, and once it's here, it is going to be an absolute XPForce party. Until that time, though, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and stay healthy out there. I love you a lot. Next gen is here, and I can't freaking wait.